this. In Elsipogtog, everybody knows about Elsipogtog. Elsipogtog is a community, a Mi'kmaq community in New Brunswick. This community refuses to accept shale gas fracking on their territory, and if you know anything about fracking, here's the basic 20 seconds on fracking, but a woman named Ashlyn over there, she'll wave for a second, is much more versed on this than I am. But fracking looks like this. Fracking is about oil digging, a pipeline that goes vertical. Fracking is a pipeline that goes horizontal, which literally fractures the rock to extract which water is then sent in, and that water is permanently damaged, and then the rock is also permanently damaged, and the oil then seeps to the surface and affects the groundwater, affects the earth, and kills animals instantly. Everything that exists within that soil, everything that exists within that groundwater dies. Now you understand a little bit of why Elsipogtog doesn't want fracking on their territory. Now, if we had time, I would show you a video, but I'm going to tell you the story of what this video is. I encourage you to go see it. This video about Elsipogtog. So the police are sent in, and the police are the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, which the New Brunswick government asked for assistance, and the federal government sent in the Royal Canadian Mounted Police to remove protesters who were standing up for the protection of their territory. And those protesters, which were all unarmed, when those police showed up, they showed up with riot gear, submachine guns, and pepper spray. And those submachine guns, they say, were filled with rubber bullets. When they showed up and they began to remove protesters, the first line of defense that those peoples had were those grandmothers, and they pepper sprayed those grandmothers. And those grandmothers once retreated, then there was a physical conflict between many men and those police officers. But those grandmothers, after removing those pepper spray from their eyes, they returned. And they returned with what? Anybody want to guess?
Feathers.
They returned with drums, with feathers, and their voices. And the men didn't go to pick up guns. What did they go pick up? Cell phones. That's what they picked up. They picked up cameras and they picked up cell phones. What an incredible, incredible choice. Because what is the other choice? The other choice is to go pick up that gun. And there's some talk about some police cars that were lit on fire, but there's lots of evidence to show that that was one provocateur, one or two provocateurs who weren't even a part of that community. However, of course, what did you see on the news, right? The important message of Elsipogtog is that it's through song, and it's through our voices, and it is through our commitment to who we are as people that can stop that. Because SWN is gone now, maybe to come back, but they are gone now. And why? Because of those cameras. Because of those cameras that those young men picked up, and those young men made an incredible choice. And the choice was for the future. The choice was to educate, and the choice was to share that knowledge of what was going on in Elsipogtog. I want to tell you why this matters for us. Right now, Lake Winnipeg is the most polluted lake in all of North America. What does the word Winnipeg mean?
Muddy water.
It means muddy water, right? Or clouded water, right? It's a Cree word meaning cloud. Now, what makes the water cloudy? It's not mud and it's not silt. It's algae. Algae is the life that exists within water. Algae is what's produced when we put things into the earth and it flows and creates blooms, algae blooms. And those algae blooms are what feed the fish. They're also what create life. They create the vitamins within that water. But unfortunately, algae has this little thing about just continuing to produce. The more things we put in the water, the more things we put in the ground, the more things we put in the soil. And it turns out that we live in this incredible, huge valley called the Lake Winnipeg watershed, which flows from everything you see. I don't know if this microphone's going to reach. Everything you see here, from northern Alberta down into even tips of the United States, this is from the Great Lake Agassiz, the glacier that melted. Northern Saskatchewan, northern Manitoba, Ontario, into North Dakota, Minnesota, and even a little bit of Montana. Everything that happens on this earth flows into Lake Winnipeg. And, anybody want to guess what's up here? The tar sands are right there. So everything that happens in those tar sands to that earth. Everything that's turned out in that and the 36 fracking projects that currently exist within Manitoba, everything that goes into our water and ends up producing algae in Lake Winnipeg. And Lake Winnipeg, particularly in the areas involving fracking, where you can light water on fire due to the oil that's within the water, we are facing a critical situation where Lake Winnipeg everything that's flowing in it just continues to produce algae. And it's now, we suffer under swimmer's itch, but the fish are dying. The animals are dying. And not only that, but all of those relatives that we have that are related to that Lake Winnipeg are very sick.